Lesson 1. Exam Structure and Objectives. Welcome to the fundamentals of NSSCO Design and Technology. To obtain your grade in the 6187 syllabus, you must complete 3 distinct components. First is Paper 1, a 2-hour written exam worth 100 marks, which is 31% of your total grade. Part A of Paper 1 tests compulsory content, while Part B requires you to answer one of 3 structured option questions to demonstrate understanding in a chosen area. Next is Paper 2, contributing 19%. Finally, you must submit Paper 3, which is a practical project. This project is incredibly important because it carries 160 marks, making up exactly 50% of your total assessment. Together, these papers total 320 marks. Missing any of these components prevents you from receiving a complete grade under the scheme of assessment. Throughout these papers, you are tested on specific objectives. For instance, Assessment Objective B focuses on design problem solving. It requires you to recognize problems, identify needs, compose a design brief, and generate outline solutions. Another major focus is Assessment Objective D, known as Realisation. Realisation covers the practical side, like planning the making process, choosing suitable resources and materials, demonstrating manipulative skills, and evaluating the aesthetic, functional, and technical quality of the final product. Understanding this breakdown ensures you balance your written theory with the substantial practical requirements of your project.
Lesson 2. Health, Safety, and Conservation. In any design workshop, safety and environmental awareness are essential. The syllabus requires you to follow standards set by the National Occupational Safety Association, or NOSA, which apply to designers, manufacturers, and consumers. In the workshop, you must be able to identify specific hazards, explicitly including eye, fire, and respiratory hazards, and know how to minimize them. You will use color associations for safety communication: red for danger, yellow for caution, and green for safety. Personal safety measures are also compulsory. You must apply rules regarding protective wear, machine guards, dust and fume extraction, and proper waste disposal. Furthermore, first aid knowledge is required. You should be able to describe treatments for cuts, bruises, burns, and electrical shocks when the body goes into shock, alongside preventative measures for contagious infections like HIV and AIDS. Safety also extends to environmental conservation. Because many natural resources and energy sources are finite, overuse harms both the environment and society. You must study recycling mainly as a method to conserve these natural resources. Designers are responsible for reducing the use of chemicals that are dangerous to the environment, such as bleaches, CFCs, and toxic materials. Additionally, you will conduct an elementary conservation study where you identify a locally applied conservation method and determine its positive results. By comparing the advantages and disadvantages of different conservation methods, you develop the critical evaluation skills necessary to choose environmentally responsible materials and safe chemical disposal practices.
Lesson 3. The Design Process and Materials. The design process begins with identifying a need or problem. You must write a concise design brief that clearly states what problem your solution will address. Following an analysis of the design situation, you will draw up a concise and detailed specification of requirements. This specification becomes the guide for generating ideas and evaluating your work later on. As you generate a range of outline solutions, you must consider constraints like time, cost, skills, and resources. To explore the problem and test whether a solution is feasible, designers use various media and equipment to produce models and mock-ups. Throughout this process, continuous appraisal of your progress and decisions is necessary, always checking back against your specification and the purpose of the study. Research is also critical. You are expected to interpret and produce data forms such as diagrams, flowcharts, graphs, and test results. When selecting materials and components for your design, the primary focus is ensuring they possess suitability for their purpose. The compulsory materials topic requires you to demonstrate a general working knowledge of how resistant materials, paper, and card can be processed. The core principles of processing materials include forming, shaping, joining, and finishing. Joining, for instance, specifically involves connecting parts so they function together as an assembly. A designer selecting materials and finishes must also consider safety and function and product maintenance to ensure the final item is both practical and secure.
Lesson 4. Realization, Evaluation,
and human needs. When you reach the making stage, or realization, accurate methods of drawing, marking out, and testing are vital so you can prepare and check your work before and during manufacture. You must select appropriate processes for shaping, forming, cutting, joining, fitting, assembling, and finishing materials. During making, you also need to practice economy. This means being careful with the use of materials, components, media, time, energy, and other resources. Once your product is finished, you must evaluate it by checking its performance against the original specification. You can assess product effectiveness using methods like sampling, questionnaires, and interviews. Based on these evaluations, you should suggest modifications that consider functional, safety, aesthetic, ergonomic, and economic factors. Beyond the product itself, you must account for broader human needs, which include environmental, cultural, and social aspects. The syllabus requires evaluating how design and technology activities impact social, environmental, and economic issues. When reviewing aesthetics, you should be able to distinguish elements like line, shape, form, space, color, texture, and proportion. Proportion specifically concerns how parts relate in size to each other and to the whole object. Finally, ergonomics plays a key role in ensuring products fit human users comfortably. In this syllabus, ergonomics is directly linked to the use of anthropometric data in your design work. By combining efficient realization techniques with thorough evaluation and a deep understanding of human needs, you can create highly successful and impactful design solutions.
Thanks for watching. For free practice questions, study guides, and flashcards, visit exampreprise.com. Good luck on your exam!